you've been doing virtual conferences since 2015, and that's crazy because right now we're in the middle of COVID-19 and we can't have regular conferences. So were you always preparing for this day? What made you ever decide to do virtual conferences where nobody were doing virtual conferences before?
Yeah, sure. It's certainly a time where virtual conferences are in the spotlight. However, they've always been working. I mean, I came about it in 2015, where I was doing smaller webinars or smaller individual events online, and they weren't really getting much traction. But when we created a 30-speaker 5-day event, we really stood out from the crowd. All the other events in the market, in the industry, it was like the must-attend go-to event because all the top influencers were speaking at this event, and so everyone wanted to attend. And that event ended up having 15,000 attendees, so 15,000 new leads, right? Email addresses being added to my business, and we made a good chunk of change off the back of that as well. And now that, we're in strange circumstances, more people are getting wind of this strategy now and are applying it to their business. However, there are some events that I've seen go live that I've been kind of disappointed in. They've just kind of been thrown together with not a strategic plan in place to maximize results. And hopefully I can share some of my experiences to help people really maximize their results.
So what were you thinking back when nobody was doing virtual conferences? What were you thinking when you did, a 30 speaker event over 5 days, and what was the thinking behind it? And what in 2015, what software did you use?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It was all a learning curve really at that point. There were plenty of people who've been running these tele-seminars, virtual summits, however you want to call it, right? Since like 2001, I think the first one was ran. And I just noticed that when we were doing these smaller webinars and we were doing them on a weekly basis, we were getting 100 people to show up to these, but it wasn't really moving the needle. We weren't really getting a big influx of revenue or interest, and the conversion rates, the opt-in rates were around about the 20 to 30% range. And however, I noticed that there was one topic that was the most of interest for people, and that was the topic of LinkedIn and how to generate leads and sales from LinkedIn. And so I decided, well, rather than do LinkedIn every couple of weeks, why don't we just do one big event? We invite all the industry experts to come and share their number one tactic for getting leads and prospecting on LinkedIn. And we get them to share that number one strategy at a conference. All right, well, let's have these. We ended up having 35 speakers across, I think, 3 or 5 days, but that worked out to be like 5 to 10 speakers per day, which is a pretty packed schedule for any conference, right? But the great thing about online is that there is no costs as a host of one of these events to set this up. It's very low entry barrier for you to get started. But it has a big upside where the way that we run this event, and you asked about the technology, is we set it up so there's a landing page, a website, where people can opt in for their free ticket. So they get a free ticket to a conference that would normally cost, if they went to that in person, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just for the ticket. And then you've got flights, accommodation, food, and your time away from your family, time out of your business as well, because you're attending this event. And all of those are really eliminated with an online virtual summit where you can really just set it up quickly, attend the events that you want, pick out the ones in your agenda, and then maybe attend those specific events, and then work on your business in between those sessions that you're not really necessarily interested in. So with that landing page, I mean, we use WordPress to set up our events, but there are some more all-in-one platforms that are dedicated to allow you to create these events yourself. And WordPress we see is just the most flexible and customizable for what we want to do. But how do we make money from it, right? Because we're giving away a free ticket. We're attracting all the leads, like the ideal clients, customers into our funnel. We're building rapport with them as they attend our event. They see us hosting the event, hosting panel discussions, interviewing with live Q&As, or just collaborating and bringing together all the top influencers in the market and being that central focus of the event. And you are collecting all the email addresses. So you are the person communicating with each individual attendee, inviting them to each day's events. So they're getting to know you quite well. You're increasing your authority and influences in their mind. You're building rapport with them. And then you're able to upsell them or take them through the funnel post-event into your other offerings. And we like to have a high ticket offer at the back end, which when I say high ticket offer, it's something that's 10K or more, $10,000 or more. And we ultimately, once people in our email list have really know, like, and trust us, we can then put them in the funnel to ultimately purchase that high ticket offer.
Wow. Wow. So you have a step-by-step process, because you've been doing this, for 5 years now. You went through a trials and errors, so you have a step-by-step process of how people can host virtual events and make them profitable.
Yeah, and when you say profitable, like I'm talking like one of our programs is called the $1 Million Virtual Summit, where we actually combine a virtual conference with a high ticket offer, so a 10K plus offer. And if you think about this, right, you have like 4,000 attendees at your event. You get 1% of people to convert, which is, absolutely reasonable, absolutely doable, to your $10,000 offer. So 40 people from your 4,000, 1% convert. So that means 40 people buy your $10,000 offer, and you've made $400,000 just with that one high ticket offer directly from your event. And these are leads that are in your email now. So over the next 12 months, even years down the track, like our first event in 2015, we're still making sales from those leads who have gotten to know us through our conferences, through our events. I've been on my email list for some time now, but only, now are they ready to move forward or take the next step or purchase from us. So yeah, these are highly profitable strategies if you put all the elements in place and make sure each stage of the funnel is optimized to convert really high. And I probably told people it a bit backwards now, because how do you start with creating your very first virtual conference? You start with the end goal in mind. Well, what is that high ticket offer that I am going to be selling? What is that $10,000 product, service, program that I'm offering? And that is something that we work with people to help figure it out if they don't already have an existing product. But then once we know that we've got a high ticket offer that's sold and people are purchasing this, we know exactly how to position it. We now reverse engineer. So again, we work backwards to design and craft the virtual event so that we position the name of it. We target the ideal target customer to buy that end product. We give all the positioning of it, from the agenda, the number of days, the number of speakers, the types of speakers we invite, the topics we want to cover, all with the end goal of edging those attendees closer and closer to purchasing our high ticket offer.
Wow. So tell me about your course. I'm interested. This is so cool because, before putting on a conference, it's such a headache, right? First, you have to find a venue, right? And the venues can be so tricky and so expensive. There's so many hidden charges, so many, you always go over the budget. Then you want to make sure that venue is somewhere a lot of people would like to attend, and no matter where you put it, somebody's not going to be able to come. Somebody's not going to be able to attend it. So you lose on that. And now, well, obviously now with all the craziness in the world, it's just so much better to have an event right in your house in front of your computer, have a bunch of people attend, you deliver better material because you're in your element, and be able to help so many people in the meantime start a business that way.
Yeah, I mean, I started my very first event with almost zero costs. I mean, there's small costs, like you got to register the domain, set up WordPress, and we did the hard graft and set it up ourselves, and then obviously learning this structure and this process. It's absolutely doable. We did it ourselves, but we've done 17 of these now, and we know exactly how to position the product to get the maximum amount of sales at the end. And so, yeah, with our program, the $1 Million Virtual Summit program, we work with clients where we do a lot of done-for-you services, because we've worked with clients in the past where, here's all the information, go do it yourself. But they miss little elements, or just from my experience, there's little nuances that I'm learning every day, right? With these events, how to improve them and how to just increase the performance. And every niche, every market is different, but this works with every single market, which is phenomenal. So with that program, we first figure out what your high ticket offer is. We help you craft that, validate it, and sell at least 3 people into that program. Then from there, we create your event, we blueprint it, we come up with a strategic partnership plan. We design the website from the logo all the way through to the sales pages, the event pages, the email funnel and the email sequence, what and when those emails should be going out, as well as the post-event email sequence, webinar, and upsell strategy that we want to do post-event. So all of that's done as a done-for-you service. However, you as the host, we want to position you as the leader, the authority, the influencer. So you're inviting the experts, you are interviewing them, or you're hosting the panel discussions, or you're facilitating their presentation, whether that's a slide presentation or something else. You are positioned as that leader. So there's a lot of positioning of you as the host to really enable you to have that trust and rapport with your audience, so you can sell that high ticket offer at the end. And this is something that we almost do in partnership, where there is initial fee to get started to work with us, so we can start crafting and doing some coaching with you. And there's online training as well as these done-for-you services as part of that. But then from there, we actually do like a performance-based model where we're only getting paid based on hitting certain revenue milestones.
I love that. So there's very minimal risk for that person who wants to do it. What do you see people, I know exactly what you mean, where you see people are doing these things and they don't have all the right elements. It's like, it's funny because in our facilities, we have these weight loss challenges and we do these things, but there are so many little steps that goes into it, and they work synergistically together to make it a perfect plan, where a lot of people then try to copy and they don't have all the steps and it's a mess, So I know that you probably have all the synergistic things, but what are some of the things that people do wrong when they're that you see right now when they're, what are some of the top things, I'm sure there's a lot, but what are the top things that they do wrong when they're putting on these virtual conferences?
Yeah, sure. So there's quite a few that we see happening, and especially now, like it's a crowded market. There's more and more virtual events happening. There's in-person conferences that are now rushing to put themselves online and host their own virtual conference. And yeah, they're rushing and they don't have a strategy, or they don't have a plan. Or what is that ultimate goal? What is that high ticket offer that we want to sell off the back of this? And then reverse engineer and design the event to ultimately hit that high ticket offer, right? To sell those offers that you've got off the back end. And that's so crucial, having that strategy and in place, and actually preparing and being really thoughtful, sitting down and making sure that we have all the elements in place to sell that high ticket offer on the back end. And then the other one is just, people moving from an in-person event online, thinking that they can just replicate it and do the same thing online. But no, like
different animal.
Yeah. Like in-person event, 9 to 5 p.m. and then we've got drinks afterwards and parties into the night, right? Like how do we replicate that kind of experience online? And you've got to keep someone engaged watching a screen, right? Staring at their computer screen for 8 hours, 9 to 5. How is that even possible? Well, you need to create engagement, interactivity, involve some accountability elements so that if they're not paying attention, they're going to be called out, right? Just little things, little nuances that we can really keep engagement, keep it interesting, keep people getting value, and just so like the time flies and they walk away with all of these elements that they've accomplished or created from spending that time at the conference together. And crafting that and figuring out how that all pans out and works together is kind of like the magic sauce that you really need to spend time on. And I notice when I'm seeing, say, virtual summits just being thrown out there now, there is just, I'm just going to pull this together. I'm just going to invite all the industry influencers to my event. And then we'll have 30 speakers across these 5 days. And because it's such a big event, everyone's going to hear about it and it's going to be great. It's going to be successful. But no, that's just where it begins, right? You've got to be marketing your event and getting the word out. And with online, there's so many great ways to encourage people to share and create viral aspects so your event really spreads throughout your industry and your market so that it does become the biggest event in your market of the year. Like it's a festival. It's an event that people just cannot miss because it's the event of the year. And how do you position that event, your event, to be seen that way? And there is work there that needs to be done, right? In everything from the crafting of the event and the content of it itself, but also the marketing is a massive proponent of this. And that's where I see a lot of people letting themselves down. You should be spending 80-90% of your time on the marketing of the event and only 10-20% on the actual creation of it.
Wow, love it. Well, Liam, if somebody wants to start doing these kind of events, I mean, I want to. Matter of fact, I want to have a separate conversation with you at a different time. Where they can find more about you, what you do, how can they partner up with you to put on these events?
Cool. Yeah, with the partnership, it's definitely an application process. So there's certain clients that we can work with, certain elements that need to be put in place. So you can grab an application form at $1,000,000virtualsummit.com. So $1,000,000virtualsummit.com. You can apply there.
Write it down.
Cool. And the other one is it's a free blog post. It's actually more than that. It's an in-depth guide. There's 23,000 words where I've just laid out the exact kind of process, the different options for you to consider when creating your virtual summit. And if you go to entrepreneurshq.com/summit, so entrepreneurshq.com/summit, that'll give you access to that guide. It's freely available. You can just go check it out and research that. And if you want to reach out to me, my favorite platform is LinkedIn. So look me up on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Oh, Liam, thank you so much, man. This is so eye-opening. This is so eye-opening for me and for everyone out there, and especially right now during this time. Before you always do something that's been done a certain way. Well, you were way ahead of your time. You're like, well, I can do this better without having all the costs and all the headaches. You put it together, you perfected it. You have a system right now, and you're way ahead of the game. So it's an honor to have you on the show, and I look forward to connecting with you and talking to you more about this.
Yeah, this has been fun, Sam. I love talking about these events, and it's an exciting time, absolutely, for events. But anyone that's just considering it, just as a final thought, there are a lot more virtual events out there. So don't just go out there and throw something together. Really plan, strategize it, do it well, because if it is done well and in the right way, it can really just catapult your business, make you hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars by just planning it out and strategizing it and doing it the right way.
Brother, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being here. I look forward to connecting with you more.
Champion. Cheers, Sam. Appreciate it.